Hey there, Alex here. This video is inspired by a recent session that I had with a client who posed the question, other people, are they me and am I them? This is a profound question that pierces the heart of non-duality and the true nature of self and reality. We wonder whether we're simply a limited person with a localized consciousness bound to this body-mind like we've been conditioned into believing, or if there's something more fundamental to us that's impersonal, transpersonal, and transcends time and space. So first, let's start with a simple inquiry into your direct experience right now. Would you agree that you're aware? Would you agree you are this awareness that's aware? Would you agree that everything that appears in awareness? In fact, if you look a little closer, would you actually agree that everything that appears as awareness? Okay, if that feels a little harder to see or understand, let me ask you this. Do you think you could ever experience anything outside of awareness? Everything you could ever experience appears as awareness, right? Everything you're experiencing right now appears in you as consciousness. You couldn't experience anything outside of consciousness, so everything that appears, including all the buildings, trees, stars, other planets, and yes, other people, really appears in and as you. So if you are this awareness, this consciousness, and by investigating your own direct reality, you can see that there's nothing you can ever experience outside of this consciousness. Everything appears inside of consciousness, and you are that consciousness. Then can you make the conclusion that everything that appears is inside of you, consciousness? You see, there are two levels to this. One is the logical, intellectual answer to the question. You could just accept my answer as a belief. Or you could see that it actually makes logical sense when you think it through without any preconceived biases. But all of this would still be on the level of the intellect. It would be a dogma, a belief just to tell you this is how it is and that's the truth, you must believe me. The only thing that's actually going to convince you is the direct seeing. What we're pointing at here is the experiential way by looking at your own direct reality and recognizing the nature of ourself, consciousness. In resting as our true nature as consciousness, we rest in a perceptual openness as the pure full view of awareness. All particular dogmas and focus on thought structures are contracted limitations within the full view of awareness. All particular beliefs are conceptual layers layered over the top of the true reality of simply consciousness appearing. Doubts can come and go, but we see their source as awareness. Every concept, thought, and belief has its source as this unconditioned awareness and only ever appears as this awareness. So ultimately, any truth that you can apparently box into a concept has to be informed by that direct seeing, and not only from a belief downloaded from a teacher. You can see that everything appears within consciousness and that everything has this consciousness as its fundamental reality. Answering the question, am I aware, inspires awareness of being, awareness of beingness, and I am that beingness. Everything appears within me, consciousness, beingness, and it's both transpersonal and impersonal. It's in everyone, but isn't located to anyone. It's what all persons appear as, but transcends the description of any person. When we go by conditioning and belief, we assert that consciousness appears in people. But when we look at reality, we only ever find that people appear in consciousness. Apparent other people always appear as a different form. Even if you had an identical twin, they're still different in some way. But the fact that you are aware, you are being, you are beingness, is identical with every single person. Even if we don't share our thoughts, beliefs, ideas, bodies, or locations in space and time, we share this simple sense of beingness. It's the same thing that we're pointing to when we realize that everything appears in consciousness. Everything appears in that beingness. Everything that appears is that beingness. Other people appear in us, but we don't have to set up an apparent duality either. We say in consciousness, in awareness, as if consciousness is the space and the content that other people, animals, and the world is in the space of consciousness. We're pointing to a hierarchy. We're pointing to the fact that consciousness is the fundamental reality, and the descriptions of people, animals, and the world are not separate and out there, but are phenomena of consciousness itself. So really, is it in consciousness, or is it actually just consciousness? Is there any separation between what's in consciousness and consciousness itself? Is there any separation between you, awareness, and what you're aware of? Can you actually find in your reality now any separation between what you're seeing and the seer? Or actually, is there just the appearance of seeing? Is there any separation that you can find in your reality between what you're hearing and a hearer? Or actually, is there just the appearance of hearing? Phenomena appear as consciousness in the same way that, yes, a movie appears on the screen, but it actually is just the screen appearing. Appearances appear in a dream, but actually it's the dream appearing. That's the collapse of the duality. That's non-duality. Space and form, subject, object, self and other are all recognized as relative appearances. Not to say that they're not real, it's just to say that they're illusory in the sense that they are not what they appear to be. When we look closely, we find out that the truth with a capital T is that there is no duality, and it's a single indivisible phenomena, including all apparent other people, trees, dogs, cows, pigs, chickens, crypto-terrestrials, and interdimensional non-human intelligences. Check your reality right now. There's the apparent object, and there's the apparent observer that you are. But for there to be an object, there has to be the one who's aware of that object. And yet that object is made out of nothing but the awareness itself. That beingness, that I amness, is what it's actually made out of. It's what the tree is made out of, what the person is made out of. It's what everything is made out of. There is no separation between the beingness and the objects. All phenomena has its source as awareness. Distance is a conceptual overlay. All phenomena arise as complete perceptual immediacy. Time is a conceptual overlay. All phenomena arise only ever as timeless awareness now. To say that there is a separate world outside of awareness, outside of consciousness, in which the objects exist independently with their own independent separate reality, call that matter, the material world, or whatever you want, is an abstraction. It's an intellectual inference. It's layered over the direct simplicity of reality, that all appearances are consciousness and I am that. If you were having a lucid dream and someone in the dream said, this tree here exists outside of consciousness and has a fundamental reality outside of the reality of the dream, you'd say, that's ridiculous. It's all part of this dream of consciousness. if you were having a lucid dream and someone in the dream said, "You are just a person, and all these people aren't you," you'd say, "That's ridiculous. I am the dreaming consciousness, and all of these people are part of me." But it's not to say they're just figments of your imagination or mindless robot automatons with no self-awareness. They are part of the universal consciousness of the dreamer, just like how you experience yourself to be. But you are not just that experience of being the dream character. You're the universal consciousness of the one dreamer. It's not you, an individual dream character, that's dreaming, is it? It's God dreaming. And ultimately, you are that. So, how to realize you're not a person and everyone is you? Just go lucid in the dream by waking up and looking at what's true for you. For one-on-one coaching inquiries, go to speaktoalex.com. See you in the next video. Peace.